Okay. Thank you. All right. It is 5:24 right now. We're following breaking news happening right now. And it's unfortunate news to bring you. Huntsville police now saying 2 officers have been taken to the hospital after being ambushed at the Governor's House Apartments in Huntsville. This is on Governor's House Road. That road, by the way, is just south of I-565. It runs between Jordan Lane on the east and Bob Wallace Avenue to the west. It's not a long distance, but that's where this Governor's House Apartments is located in Huntsville. What you're looking at right here is a live look outside Huntsville Hospital where those officers were taken. We're still trying to gather more information, but what we do know right now is this is a very active scene. Police tell Way 31 the officers are still in a standoff situation with a suspect at that location, Governor's House Drive Southwest. We do have a reporter at that scene. We're just hearing that those 2 officers are now confirmed. 2 have been shot. We don't know their conditions right now, but we do know that 2 Huntsville police officers have been shot responding to this scene at Governor's House Drive Southwest. As I mentioned, we do have a reporter at that scene gathering information right now. We are working to learn the extent of the officers' injuries. Of course, we're going to bring you updates as we learn them. I want to ask the crew members back there in the control room if they can bring up the traffic map of that area. I believe meteorologist Grace Anello has pulled that up for us. And you can see that area just to the west. Don't pay attention to that crash right there. It's over to the west off 565 in the area of Bob Wallace and Jordan Lane. That area right there. It would not surprise me at all, and it does look like police have probably blocked off part of 565. The road is so close to 565 there between Bob Wallace and Jordan Lane that I would not be surprised if they're keeping cars off that road. We might have a live picture of that area from one of our Way 31 sky cams. We'll try to bring that up for you if we can. But if you're just joining us right now, we are following this breaking news. Huntsville police say 2 officers have been shot and taken to the hospital after being ambushed at a scene on Governor's House Drive at the apartments there in Huntsville. Let's go out to Max Cohan. He joins us live now from Huntsville Hospital. It's a difficult situation. We don't know much, Max, but can you tell us anything from the scene there, from the hospital?
Yeah, Dan, obviously there's not a ton of information to go off right now other than what you just said. We have 2 officers who were transported to the hospital after they were ambushed. They're unable to tell us their condition at the moment, but we do expect to have an update pretty soon. In terms of the scene here, this is on Madison Street behind me. It was closed off while they brought the ambulances in, and we had police cars blocking the road. Since then, traffic has reopened, and as you can see, is moving behind me. But there are still a lot of police in the area, ambulances moving back and forth, and police obviously talking to each other about the ongoing situation. And obviously, we'll be sure to hop right back on and give you an update as soon as we have one. Reporting live in Huntsville, Max Cohan, Way 31 News.
All right, thanks very much, Max. We appreciate it. Max Cohan reporting live there at Huntsville Hospital, the scene where 2 police officers from Huntsville Police have been brought after being apparently shot, ambushed, in fact, at a scene on Governor's Drive Southwest, Governor's House Drive, Governor's House Apartments. There you go. Take a look at that's the hospital again, of people gathering there. It's a massive gathering of Huntsville police officers and city officials, no doubt. And as Max mentioned, what they did is they'll close all the intersections to let those ambulances get as quickly as they can to the hospital with those injured officers. They are at the hospital right now. We're working to learn their conditions. Again, if you're just joining us, very active scene at this location. Police telling Way 31 that officers, in fact, are still in a standoff situation with this suspect on Governor's House Drive Southwest. Now, this is a look near the scene from the U.S. Space and Rocket Center camera. This is actually a camera that's mounted on Calhoun Community College, just across, so on the north side of I-565, looking toward the south at that scene. Governor's House Drive Southwest runs right along the eastbound lanes of 565. So just to the south of that interstate is Governor's House Drive Southwest. It runs between Bob Wallace and Jordan Lane. That's where this apartment complex is located. Max Cohan is live for us at the Huntsville Hospital. We've been seeing police officers. There you see one jogging into there. Police officers, as we've seen in the past, they're a very tight-knit community. You've heard this expression many times, a band of brothers and sisters, and they really are. They look out for each other, and when one goes down, it is a massive effort to support not only the officer, but the officers' families and the community as a whole as that happens. You're looking at a scene at Huntsville. I'm sorry. Okay, we do have confirmation now that a third victim has been taken to the hospital, and that is a private citizen, not a police officer. So at this point, we have 3 injured, a person, a citizen, and 2 Huntsville police officers apparently injured in this shooting at Governor's House Drive apartment. Huntsville Hospital emergency room entrance just off Governor's Drive. Is off to the left-hand side of your screen, it looks like, I believe. So a lot of Huntsville police officers have converged on the hospital to support the families and to support the 2 officers who were, as we know right now, injured in this shooting. WAAY 31's Brittany Harry is one of our reporters out. We have at least 3 reporters right now and a team back here at WAAY 31 studios working our sources here on phones and through the internet to try and get you more information. But Brittany Harry is live for us not too far from where this is happening. Brittany, what's the latest from where you are?
Dan, actually pretty quiet over here on Bob Wallace and Crestwood Drive where I'm standing at the moment. Still a police presence in the area, but things have calmed down just a little bit over here. I see about 4 or 5 Huntsville police vehicles with their lights on, kind of staged in the area because this is still an ongoing situation. But currently where I'm standing, things have quieted down just a little bit in this area.
WAAY 31's Brittany Harry reporting live for us. We are getting some information here, and I apologize, I couldn't hear the entire report. So if I'm reiterating what Brittany just mentioned, forgive me, but we're hearing from Huntsville Police that they are now confirming that there is a barricaded subject in an apartment on Governor's House Drive. So there is still a large police presence at the scene of this initial shooting. We were told initially this was at the Governor's House apartment complex, which is just off Jordan Lane on Governor's House Drive Southwest. Police are asking anyone in the area to shelter in place and avoid the area of Jordan Lane near Bob Wallace Avenue, 9th Avenue, and Governor's House Drive due to the heavy police presence there. And again, that's the intersection where all those roads come together. Jordan Lane, 9th Avenue is basically the same road as Governor's House Drive. I'm checking my maps right now, and it looks like as soon as you cross the intersection of Jordan Lane, you are on Governor's House Drive Southwest, and that runs all the way along the interstate past Governor's House Apartments and meets up again with Bob Wallace Avenue as it curves around to the north to cross over 565. So avoid that area if you can. Police on the scene at the Governor's House apartment complex there with what they call is a suspect barricaded in one of those apartments. WAAY 31's Xavier Wary is at this scene right here that you're looking at. This is the intersection of Jordan Lane and 9th Avenue, also Governor's Drive Southwest. He's going to join us now with more information, if he has it, on what he's seeing there. Police still blocking off that intersection, it looks like, Xavier.
Yeah, they are, Dan. And so Jordan Lane to the right of me right here, it is completely clear. There are no cars on the road. But as you can see to the left of me, everyone trying where traffic goes onto I-565. That is where traffic is currently at a standstill. And I spoke to one officer with the Madison County Sheriff's Office. They tell me that they don't know how long they're going to block off this road, but they do say that this road right now is currently blocked off. And as you just mentioned, courtesy of HPD, they told us to obviously, or telling citizens to avoid this area of Jordan Lane and Bob Wallace. So again, still working to get some more information, but as of right now, this stretch of Jordan Lane and Bob Wallace is currently closed. Dan?
Yeah, the best advice, obviously, to avoid that area. Thank you, Xavier. He's going to keep us posted on what he learns there at that intersection. Avoid that area if you can. This could be still a potentially very dangerous situation, not only for officers, but for any citizens nearby. We don't know the state of mind of this apparent shooter. We don't know what kind of weapons he might have or how willing he is to use them on anyone. So the best advice, of course, is to let police handle this, and they are right now. We have seen a lot of SWAT vehicles heading to that situation and a massive police presence there. This will be on the south side of I-565 there as you approach the Jordan Lane exit. This is a live look at Huntsville Hospital. 2 police officers are being treated right now for injuries after being shot, apparently ambushed after they were called to the Governor's House apartment complex in Huntsville on a shots fired call. So police get a call of shots fired. Naturally, they go to the scene to protect life and property, and then they are ambushed by somebody and shot themselves. 2 officers, we understand, are shot and injured and at Huntsville Hospital. And another person, we were told, is also injured in that, and they are also being treated at Huntsville Hospital. Again, this scene was at the Governor's House Apartments at in Huntsville on Governor's House Drive Southwest. The officers were taken to Huntsville Hospital. This is still a very active scene, as we've been showing you and telling you. Police tell us that they are still working a barricaded subject in that apartment complex somewhere in there. And I believe that it is, okay, we just saw one officer leave. Here comes more officer. All right, looks like they're evacuating some citizens from that nearby, perhaps a nearby home or in that apartment complex. There's an officer with a weapon and 3 people, and it looks like maybe carrying a child to safety here. We're not sure exactly what's going on there, but we'll keep you posted as we learn more. Xavier Wary, no doubt, going to try and get some information on this. This is where he is. The Jordan Lane is what you're looking at there, the major street, and this is 9th Avenue and Governor's House Drive Southwest. All right, well, giving us the peace sign there. Maybe all's well with them. That's a good sign. Max Cohan is joining us live again now from Huntsville Hospital, where these police officers were taken and are being treated for their injuries. We're going to check back in with him if he has any new information. Max?
Dan, still no update on the condition, but as you saw, we did have a helicopter come in and an additional ambulance. Now, it's impossible to tell whether those are involved in this incident, but you might be able to see behind me the street here on Madison Street is open. There is far fewer police here than there were, say, 15 minutes ago, and definitely than there were 30 minutes ago. But obviously, police still gathering in that emergency room exit. A large presence here, although it was not this small a couple minutes ago. And as we mentioned, a helicopter came in and an additional ambulance, but it is impossible to tell if the people that were being transported in those have anything to do with this incident. And of course, as soon as we get an update on the officers involved, we'll hop right back on and give you an update. Reporting live in Huntsville, Max Cohan, WAAY 31 News.
All right, thanks, Max. We appreciate your efforts out there at Huntsville Hospital to glean more information about what's happening. We know the mayor was out there a few moments ago. We saw him apparently injured his Achilles heel. Okay, WAAY 31's Xavier Wary has some information for us now. Xavier, what are you learning out there?
Yeah, Dan, so I just spoke with a representative of HPD, and they tell us that they are now beginning the evacuation process of removing some of the residents from that apartment complex. And they asked us nicely not to show any of their faces on camera due to the sensitivity of this. And also Sydney Martin with HPD, excuse me, she just told me that they are working to give us some information, but they just ask us kindly to please be patient with them. But we are knowing that information is coming, but right now they are evacuating people from the Governor's House Apartments. That is the latest here in Huntsville. Dan?
Yeah, great information. Thanks, you, Xavier, for finding out that. We can obviously respect that request to not show the faces of citizens who are being evacuated, but we did show you a moment ago a police officer leading 3 people in what looked like a child covered in a blanket, perhaps, out of that area and to safety. So they're taking no chances. We're looking at video here. This is apparently from a WAAY 31 viewer. Is that correct? This is, okay, I apologize. This is from one of our news vehicles traveling along 565, it looks like. And that's how close this is to the interstate. That's Governor's House Drive Southwest, runs right along I-565, just on the south side there, between the Bob Wallace interchange and the Jordan Lane interchange. And that's what you're looking at right there. This is the apartment complex where the police standoff is happening. You can kind of make out all the police vehicles there. We've seen SWAT vehicles as well. The latest information that we have is that there is a subject barricaded in an apartment in that Governor's House apartment complex. And as Xavier Wary just told us, police are working to evacuate some of the residents of that apartment complex to safety, because we don't know what this person who's in that apartment is capable of. We know that apparently they've already shot 2 police officers. So that's about as far as you're going to get. We don't know the extent of those officers' injuries at this point, but we also don't know the state of mind of that person who's barricaded and what they might be capable of and the kind of weapons they might have on hand. So police are taking no chances, trying to evacuate as many people as they can from in and around that apartment complex. That intersection now is completely devoid of cars. We saw this backed up just about a half an hour ago. It was backed up in all directions, and police have now cleared that area. They're blocking off traffic. You will not be able to get to this area at all. There's the map you can see. Now, the road on the bottom part of your screen that looks green and yellow, that's Bob Wallace. You can see where it crosses Jordan Lane on the right and then works its way around to cross over I-565 and eventually become Sparkman. Governor's House Drive Southwest is at the top of your screen right there. Runs between Bob Wallace, where it curves on the left side, over to Jordan Lane. And just to the left side of Jordan Lane, that's where that apartment complex is. So all that area is blocked off. You can see the green in the upper right hand of your screen turns immediately to red. That is where they're blocking traffic. So nobody's getting through this area. Police trying to keep everyone as safe as possible while they continue to work this standoff situation apparently now at the Governor's House apartment complex. 2 police officers shot and wounded. We don't know the extent of their injuries at this point. We do know a lot of police officers have arrived at Huntsville Hospital to support them, to support the doctors, the nurses, and the families who are there with their loved ones while they go through this. We, of course, are praying for the best outcome here at Way 31 and the entire citizenry of Huntsville. There's a look at that intersection again. This is Jordan Lane that you're looking at right now. It is completely blocked and will be Jordan Lane at 9th Avenue and Governor's House Drive Southwest is going to be completely blocked until they get this situation resolved, hopefully coming to a peaceful end. We are going to wait on a spokesperson for Huntsville Police to give us an update, hopefully of any new information to give us any kind of idea of what's happening here. These are police vehicles you're seeing right there pulling up to that intersection and over into the apartment complex. Way 31's Brittany Harry is at the other side of this scene, back off to the east side. She joins us now live on the phone with what she's learning. Brittany?
Dan, yes, still here at Bob Wallace Avenue and Crestwood Drive in the area where police are still kind of staged in this area as well. Things are a little bit calmer over here now than they were, say, an hour ago. Whenever I first arrived on scene, there was a heavy traffic backup in the area, and officers were flying up and down the street. Now, you do still see that every once in a while in this area, as this is still a very active situation, but currently it seems like officers are just kind of staged throughout the area, and it's a large, heavy police presence in the area, just as this situation is still unfolding. But like you said, we are hoping for the best. But that is the latest out here from Crestwood Drive and Bob Wallace Avenue.
Yeah, okay, so she is at Crestwood Drive and Bob Wallace. Brittany Harry reporting live for us there on what she sees. Crestwood Drive runs off Bob Wallace to the north and leads into a neighborhood which is just to the south of the apartment complex. If you kept driving along Crestwood Drive, you could eventually get into that apartment complex. This is the Governor's House apartment complex there. But again, that's going to be blocked off as well. There is a large neighborhood just to the south of this apartment complex that I'm sure police would love to see evacuated and taken care of. But at this point, your best advice is to shelter in place, lock your doors, and make sure you stay put until you're given the all clear. But at this point, we don't know if there's an immediate threat to anyone in the area. The latest we have here at Way 31 is that there is a police standoff with a subject in one of the apartments at the Governor's House apartment complex. It's the Governor's House apartment complex is right off Governor's House Drive, which runs right along I-565, just on the south side there between Jordan and Bob Wallace, or Sparkman Drive. So that's the situation right now. We're still waiting on any information from Huntsville Fire Rescue, Huntsville Police, HEMSI units, perhaps. We're still just not hearing any information. So we're working our sources here. We have been in touch with Huntsville Police spokesperson Sydney Martin to give us an update. She is preparing something, we're told, right now, but she said just give us patience. They're still trying to work out what's happening. Back at the hospital, we know those 2 officers are being treated right now for gunshot wounds. We don't have any information at this point on the extent of their injuries, where they were shot on their person, or how they were injured. But we do know that there is a large police presence still at the scene of this standoff, apparently now, with this barricaded subject in one of the apartments. And we have seen police leading citizens and residents out of that area to try to get them to safety. Here is a look. This was a video. This is not live video. This was video that was shot by one of our reporters earlier in the day off 565. But you can see the apartment complex off in the distance right there, and a lot of police units on the scene while they try to get this situation under control. This is a large apartment complex. I'm just looking at it here on Google Maps, and you can see there are 2, 4, 6, 8 apartment buildings, it looks like, in this complex. So this is a large area and a lot of people that need to be protected. So if you're listening to me right now on Way 31, be advised, if you're in this area, stay inside. Let police do their jobs at this point. We know it's tempting to step outside and ask what's happening, what's going on, but that's never a great idea. The best advice is to stay in your home until this is resolved. We have reporters on the scene. We are trying to do our best to bring you the information that you want and need to know about what's happening, and we will continue to do that for you. Xavier Wary standing by right there at that intersection. That is just off to the east or southeast side of the entrance to that apartment complex. We have Way 31's Brittany Harry near that scene as well. Here's a live look at traffic along 565 now from our Sky Camera network. You can see still in the eastbound direction, all backed up through there. You're going to be slow and go for quite a few miles heading into Huntsville as the cars work past that scene. Police have not shut down the interstate. The interstate appears to be still open. They may have shut down some of the exit ramps, though, to Bob Wallace or to Jordan Lane. I cannot confirm that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're diverting you away from this scene, especially the Jordan Lane area, because it's so close to this apartment complex. Here's another look at officers blocking intersections there while the SWAT team does their work at that apartment complex. We are waiting to hear more information about what is going on at the scene of this standoff, where apparently 2 police officers were ambushed and shot. We are also waiting to hear more about the conditions of those officers who are right now being treated at Huntsville Hospital. I mentioned a moment ago we saw Mayor Tommy Battle in there, who apparently injured his Achilles heel, and he is on a scooter. But we saw him near the entrance to the Huntsville Hospital emergency room talking with Don Webster, who is in charge of HEMSI. We saw that just a few moments ago as they were going into the emergency room. But we don't know any information on the condition so far of those 2 officers who were shot during apparently an ambush situation after they were called to a shots fired scene at this apartment. That's a live look now just outside the emergency room entrance to Huntsville Hospital. Way 31's Max Cohan is there for us, watching this very carefully, trying to gather any more information that he has. At this point, these officers that you see, most of these patrol officers cannot give us information. They're not allowed to, essentially. We have to wait for a spokesperson or the chief to relay that information to us, and so far that has not happened. But we are constantly in contact with them, with representatives from Huntsville Fire and Rescue. You've also seen some of their trucks out there. And again, Don Webster with HEMSI also forthcoming with information normally, but at this point he has not released any information on any of the injuries to those officers. So we're still waiting to hear more about how those officers were injured, the extent of those injuries, and the scene that is unfolding right now also at where this shooting happened, at the Governor's House apartment complex on Governor's House Drive, southwest in Huntsville. Way 31's Xavier Wary is standing by at this scene right now. Xavier, you said you're fairly, I don't know if you can hear me, I hope you can. There he is. You said you're fairly close to actually that apartment complex, is that right? Just basically a stone's throw across the street?
Yeah, absolutely. So right here, Dan, behind me, where that car is at that intersection, really that, and then you make that curve around the right, that is where the intersection, or that is where the apartment complex is when you make that right turn. And as I was telling you all earlier, man, when I was coming up here on 565, I could see into the neighborhood from 565, and it was just utter and complete chaos. Officers had their weapons drawn, a bunch of deputies' vehicles were out there, fire trucks were out there, of course SWAT and ambulance as well. So again, the scene right here is a lot more calm now that the roads have been closed and there's no traffic flowing through, with the exception of that one vehicle. And again, we are still working to learn more information. Sydney Martin with HPD is over here to the left of me. There are also some officers. They are gathered on their phones trying to collect their information to give us as well. So, you know, Dan, we are just still working to get something. But as I told you all earlier, Sydney tells us to just be extremely patient with her because they are working to gather something. But as soon as she does, she will pass that along to us, and we will pass that along to you. Dan?
Xavier Wary reporting live for us near the scene of that standoff. There is the mayor, Tommy Battle, again. Apparently he injured his Achilles heel. He is on that scooter right there. There he is right there. You see him scooting along the sidewalk right there just outside Huntsville Hospital. Obviously, he is not going to approach reporters at this point. We're going to keep an eye on him, though, to see if perhaps he'll give us an update. Doesn't look like it at this point, though. If you're just joining us, the time now is 6:18. You are joining us on breaking news that we've been following for the last hour or so. Huntsville police telling us 2 of their officers were taken to the hospital after being ambushed at the Governor's House Apartments in Huntsville. Apparently, those 2 officers suffering gunshot wounds. This is a live look near the scene of that. This is Jordan Lane at 9th Avenue, which also becomes Governor's House Drive southwest. As you look to the left, if you went, as Xavier explained, that road immediately curves off to the right and then goes back around to the left along the interstate, and that's where the Governor's House apartment complex is located. So police have completely shut down that intersection, as well as other intersections into a neighborhood that's just to the south of that apartment complex off Bob Wallace. All right, we're seeing more ambulances, another ambulance come out of that neighborhood, escorted by police officers. We don't know who might be in that ambulance, but officers will accompany it down Governor's Drive all the way to Huntsville Hospital. Chances are they will block the intersections along that path to get that person to the hospital as quickly as possible. Again, we just don't have any information, any confirmation of what's happening right now. But we just saw an ambulance leave that neighborhood, followed by 3 marked Huntsville police cars. I have my opinions, but I'm not at this point. I don't need to share those. What we're looking at here is the neighborhood, the area of this standoff, as last we were told, a standoff with a subject in an apartment complex, in an apartment there. Apparently ambushed police officers shot at least 2 of them, we're told, and a 3rd citizen, all rushed to Huntsville Hospital to be treated for their injuries. But this area is a neighborhood. There's a big neighborhood right behind this apartment complex. So everyone is advised to shelter in place until this situation is under control. This is video you're looking at taken from I-565, looking to the south there at Governor's House Drive Southwest, and that's the apartment complex you're seeing there, and a lot of police units you can just make out over that grassy hill there. You can see the police officers there on the scene. This was taken a little while ago, so we have seen SWAT units and police officers continuing to drive into that neighborhood and that complex. And this is the scene outside Huntsville Hospital's ER entrance. Huntsville police gathering there. It's anytime the call comes out that an officer has been shot or an officer is down, the response elevates 1,000%. So you get every officer, who can, at the scene, either of the shooting or at the hospital to support the other officers and their families. And you're seeing that right now, playing out live here at Huntsville Hospital. We wish we could give you more information. We can't tell you more than we know at this point, but at this point, all we know is 2 officers injured in a shooting at Governor's House Apartments after being ambushed, going to a shots fired call. Huntsville police spokesperson Sydney Martin telling us that we need to be a little more patient while they gather more information on exactly what happened. And so she will hopefully give us some more information coming up in just a few minutes. If you're just joining us, this is the area of Jordan Lane at 9th Avenue, or Governor's House Drive Southwest. That's that intersection right now. Off to the right will be I-565 and the interchange right there. Police have blocked this off. This is the entrance to that neighborhood. The road curves around, moves off to the south, and goes right by the Governor's House apartment complex. That's the main entrance to that apartment complex. You can also get to it, looks like, from the Bob Wallace side, which will be off to your left, as that shot shows. It's off to the left side. Bob Wallace continues and then meets up with Governor's House Drive way off to the west. So you can expect a lot of heavy police presence in this area. You should avoid that if you can. There's another look. This is from Candace Wynn, Way 31 viewer. You can see all of those police officers swarming that apartment complex for what we're told is a barricaded suspect, a subject inside one of those apartments. We don't know, in relation to the 8 buildings or so that are in this apartment complex, where this is exactly happening. But police are taking no chances. They're trying to evacuate. In fact, you saw, if you were watching us a few minutes ago, you saw live police escorting some residents out of that area to safety. We're working back here at Way 31 to bring you any information we can through our sources that we can get to on the phone or via Twitter or via email. This is a live look again at Huntsville Hospital. Way 31's Max Cohan is there taking these shots for us and listening for any new information. He can join us right now, in fact, and tell us if he's heard anything. Quite a few officers waiting at the entrance to that emergency room there. Max, have you heard anything at all?
Hey, Dan, we still have not heard anything yet. Obviously, as you can see, lots of officers still outside, but the presence here has died down quite significantly. We do have some action, just a couple officers moving down on Governor's, and a helicopter that just took off here. Obviously, have no idea where it's going or if that is involved in this incident as well, but we are still waiting on an update on the condition of all those involved, and as soon as we have anything, we will be sure to bring you an update as quickly as we can. Looks like we might have another ambulance heading here right now, actually. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab a shot of that.
All right, this looks like the same ambulance that we saw a moment ago, Max, leaving the scene, coming out of that neighborhood. Governor's House Drive Southwest. It was followed by, yeah, there they are, the 3 marked Huntsville police units. And this ambulance now pulling into the emergency room at Huntsville Hospital. Now, again, we don't know who's in there, obviously. We don't know how this person was injured, but we do know they were escorted by at least 3 Huntsville police units. You can see that ambulance now backing into the emergency entrance to Huntsville Hospital. A few moments ago, we saw another ambulance with a patient at Huntsville Hospital. Again, there are more questions than answers at this point. We don't know if that person was involved in this situation at all. But Obviously, people still being injured and sick all across the city. So this is not necessarily involved, but that one looks like it was somehow, with the police escort and a lot of police officers going back over to that ER entrance. This is the entrance to the neighborhood there. You can see the sign, Jordan Lane. That's Jordan Lane crossing from your left to right. And that is Governor's House Drive Southwest, which goes in, makes an immediate curve to the right, and then curves back around to the left. And it's that stretch of road which runs along 565 and is also where that apartment complex is located. Last check, police still in a standoff with a subject in one of those apartments. You see another Huntsville police officer making their way out of that complex there right now, and several what look like citizens' vehicles behind them. Probably in a situation like this, and I don't mean to speak out of turn, but it looks like officers will try to get as many people out of there as they can. They have no way of knowing if this person ended up ambushing police officers and shot two of them, how far he's willing to go. So they don't want to put anybody else in any danger. They brought in, we saw a big SWAT truck move into that complex about a half